Welcome back, my WeldTube family. It's Abraham. I'm here with my good friend Steven. In tonight's video, we're going to be doing this bell hole right here, okay? I'm going to be doing one side and he's going to be tackling the other side. Also, he's going to be using his SA200 machine over there, and I'm going to be using a 304 Miller XMT. The whole purpose of this video is to show how the settings on the SA200 will transition over to a Miller XMT 304. Alright guys, so right here I got my friend Steven right here. He's going to be helping me out with this video. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
What's up everybody? Steven, rig welder for a number of years. Been welding for, can't even remember how long. Started offshore, went back to land, got in a fab shop, got tired of that, and now I'm here with this beauty over here. And yeah, I'm just here to help out my buddy Abraham, see if we can tackle this piece.
And again, the purpose for this video is to show how the settings of an SA200 will transition over to a Miller XMT 304. Okay, we get asked this question a lot whenever we do these pipeline videos, and we're using a SA200. We always get those questions. What does third gear 60 transition over to Miller 304? And hopefully in this video we're gonna be able to demonstrate that, and hopefully this video helps y'all out. All right guys, so in tonight's video we got this belt hole right here. For y'all people who don't know what it is, it's pretty much a 12-inch pipe in a 5G position. It's a 250 wall. We have it about 1/16 gap, and the landing's a nickel landing. Okay, this is what we prefer. I know other people prefer a 332 landing, maybe even a bigger landing, but for us, what we did for this video is 1/16 gap and a nickel landing. We have 4 tacks on it: 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Okay, my good friend right here is gonna be doing this side over here, and I'm gonna be doing the opposite side. Okay, he's gonna be using the SA200, and I'm gonna be using a Miller XMT 304. I am gonna be using this remote right here. This thing is pretty sick. I have the a receiver connects to where the you connect the remote at, and pretty much what this does is right here, I turn it on, it goes by percentages. Okay, so I have my machine set over there at 200 amps. Okay, but right here it says 45%. Okay, so right now it's running at 45% of 200 amps, so that gives you roughly at 90 amps right there. Okay, so if I was to go up to 50 amps on this remote, it'll be 100 amps. Okay, you know, it's very simple. You want to demonstrate what you can be using over there?
Yeah, I'm going to be using my SA200 remote right here. I'm going to be in third gear, depending on how the landing is after we use the Metabo on it. Going to vary on my heat. This machine tends to run a little bit hot. Some do. It just depends on how old it is, how long it's been used. Everything varies, but my machine tends to run a little bit hot. So I want to start off around third gear, 45, maybe 50, and as we go on, I will increase my amperage as I go down the pipe, and maybe decrease it as well. It all depends on how the puddle's moving, and if the keyhole's following me. Everything is going to be involved. So,
and the good thing about this video is like we keep repeating, he's using his SA200 and I'm using just Miller XMT 304. Okay, so this video is going to be really helpful to those people who just have access to one machine. Okay, but yeah, let's get to it. All right guys, so right here on my side, I'm gonna go first. Like I said, I'm using the XMT 304. I'm gonna be running 50% of 200 amps. Okay, so that's roughly 100 amps. Okay, very self-explanatory. Okay, and I'm just gonna be I'm gonna start from 12 o'clock. I'm just gonna drag all the way down here. Okay, this isn't really a tutorial on how to do a root pass downhill, so I'm just gonna give a brief explanation. What I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be just pushing my rod into the pipe as I drag my my rod down. Okay, and what I'm going to be looking for is for my keyhole to be following me. Okay, if my keyhole's growing in size or my walls are just blowing away, it means I'm too hot, and that's whenever I would tell Steven right here to go down on the amps as I'm welding. Okay. All right guys, so I just finished the top half of my root right here. Again, right now I'm running my machine over there is set at 200 amps, but I am at 45% of 200 amps, so that roughly makes it at, sitting at 90 amps right now. Okay, I do have a really tight fit up right now. Going down from 12 all the way down to, what is this, 3 to 4 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. I did go all the way up to about 110 at one point. So initially, my average, the average amps I'm welding at is anywhere from 90 amps all the way to 110 amps. Okay, and give or take 5. So yeah, right now I'm gonna restart again. I'm probably gonna start at where am I at? I'm at 45% of 200 amps, 90 amps. So it does look a little tighter down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start at 50% of 200 amps, making it at 100 amps right now. Another thing I forgot to explain, or I haven't explained yet, is my arc control. Okay, I have my arc control set over there at on the machine at 100. Okay, the reason I have it at 100 is because I want penetration. Okay, and that's how you control that. Steven right here, he's gonna be using the SA200. He has it on 3rd gear, and the way you transition that over is the higher the gear, the more arc force you have. Okay, so if you wanted more arc force, you'd go to 4th gear. Okay, and if I wanted more arc force, I'll just go over there to a little knob over there. It's obviously a newer machine, so I got that luxury to do so, and I'll just raise up my arc control on the arc control settings.
Basically gonna do the same thing Abraham's doing, except on my side, I'm using 1/8 60-10, 3rd gear about 45, and from then I'm gonna basically just softly put that rod in and just drag all the way down. Try not to be too fast and see if my keyhole is chasing me. If it is, we're gonna be good, we'll be great, perfect heat. If not, I'm gonna turn it up more, ask Abraham to, up 5 or up 10, depending on how it goes, and just drag all the way down. Once we get down to the bottom with our root, we're gonna clean it off. We're gonna grab a 532 80-10, turn my amps up a bit, maybe by 10, 15, maybe 20, depending on how the puddle's moving. I'm gonna ask Abraham. And we're gonna go all the way down again with that. Once that's done, we'll clean it off, get to 3/16 80-10, crank it up a bit just for the cap. And then once we get down to the bottom, probably turn it down a couple more amps just so we don't blow out the walls and the side of the pipe.
All right, guys, one more thing. Very important I get this as to what angle do I keep when you're running your root pass, you know, with 60-10. And ideally, you want to be 90 with the pipe at all times. This goes for a root, root, fill, and cap. You know, always 90. Always 90. You always want to do 90. So if you're right here, you want to be perfect 90. When you start off, you want to be like this. Okay. Things that indicate that you're not having you don't have the right angle is your puddle will stick, and that tells you that your angle is probably wrong. You have to keep practicing. I found out because, you know, when I was learning, my puddle kept sticking. You know, and luckily my good friend right here was I've learned a lot from him. He was like, hey, change your angle up, you know, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Especially with the 3/16, because it's such a big rod, and that puddle always wants to grab the tip of it. Especially when you come to the side here, right on the belly, you're gonna want to, at least for me or my machine, you're gonna want to keep a steep angle and keep that puddle floated all the way at the top as you start going down.
Some machines are more sensitive than others. You know, I ran some other SA200s, and I might not have the right angle, but the puddle seems to run fine. But when I use his machine, if you don't keep that right angle, it will turn off on you and it will stick. You know, but yeah. All right, guys. So we just finished the root. The amps I stayed over here with my Miller XMT 304. The range I was about 90 amps all the way to 110 amps, I believe.
About 110, yeah.
Yeah, about 110. And Steven, go ahead and tell them.
Like I said before, I was in 3rd gear. We started at 50? 50. Started at 50. I could see it was a little hot, so I went back down to 45, and as I started going down the pipe again, cranked up more amps, 55, 60. As I got towards the center, it was a little closed up, so I made him crank it up to 75, about 75 amps. And then from then on, it was about 60, 65, all the way down to the bottom. And once I started tying in that tack at the bottom, Abraham turned me down to about 60. That would get that good tie-in and you don't blow out the bottom.
Yeah. And so, refresher over here, 90 amps, 90 to 100 amps. And keep in mind, I do have my arc force or arc control all the way up to 100, okay? And my friend Steven, he's on third gear here. If he did want more arc control, more dig, he would go up a gear, okay? We're about to start our hot pass right now, but I'm going to do on my, I'm going to leave my arc control right there because I want to dig out all the trash when I put my hot pass. But if you don't want to do that, you can, go down on your arc control all the way down to 50 or 0, okay? Same goes for Steven. I don't know if you're going to go down a gear for this.
No, I'm actually going to stay in third, maybe keep it around 60, 65. I like to run hot, that way I'm for sure burning out everything that I've left behind, if there is anything. And then I'll probably leave 60, 65 at the bottom, maybe turn it down a little bit, that way we don't get that undercut on the wall, and then it's on to the cap.
All right, guys, I just finished my root pass. I'm about to start my hot pass. I'm going to be using a 532 8010 rod, okay? The amps I'm going to be running are going to be roughly, I'm going to start at 120 amps, all right? Now, if I feel it too cold, I'm going to tell Steven to go up 5, and if I feel it too hot, I'm going to tell him to go down 5, or I might tell him to go up 10. It all depends how I feel. But for right now, I'm starting at 120 amps.
Good? Good.
We're moving a back and forth technique right here. Do what? All right, guys, so me and Steven, we just finished the hot pass, and it was our hot pass and our flush at the same time because this pipe being a 250 wall, it only needed a hot pass, and it was our flush. It's flushed already, okay? He did add his hot pass was a little bit more heavy than mine, but still it's freaking badass, man. You could tell, look at his, it looks like a stack of dimes. The temperature I was running, get this, I started off at 120, and when I got all the way down to up to the bottom, I did go down a little bit, and I was just experimenting, okay? I wanted to see how it would feel. Like I said, this video is to give the viewer an explanation on how temperatures will transition over from a SA200 to a Miller machine, an XMT 304. But I felt like I went all the way down to 110, and that was a little bit cold, okay? So I would roughly keep it at 120. Maybe possibly if I wanted to make sure everything was burnt out, probably go all the way up to 130, okay? You got anything to say, add to that, Steven?
Yeah, I did mine in third gear still. I started at about almost 70, and which was great. I mean, all the way halfway through the pipe. I just started getting towards the bottom. I probably should have turned it down about 65, maybe 60 at that. There's a little bit of undercut, but not too bad. Nothing that, wouldn't pass x-ray. You just covered up with the cap and you'd be fine. Other than that, no, it looks great. I added a little bit more metal like he said, but that's because I guess my motion's a little slower than his, but I choose to do that. That way I know I'm going to be at least over flush and not exactly forward.
But yeah, so like I said, third gear 70, third gear 60, 75, 60, would probably transition over to 120 to 130 using a 532 rod 8010. So yeah, I mean, All right, so we're getting ready to start a cap. We're gonna be using a 316 8010. I'm probably gonna raise up my machine all the way to 130, see how that feels. And
yeah, I'll probably raise it up a little bit. I like a hotter cat, that way moving a little bit faster, keep that puddle floating a lot. So I'll probably turn it up, see what it is as I'm going. So. You good right there?
Yeah, I'm good right there. Put down.
65. All right, y'all, I'm about to do my cap, 3/16, 8010. I'm in third gear, about 90, like to start a little hot, and then we're gonna go from there. See, we may change it up, may keep it all the way through. We'll definitely turn it down on the bottom though. All right, let's get it.
Go down. 85. Yeah, 85. All right, guys. So me and Steven, we just finished his bell hole right here. He used an SA200. I used a Miller XMT 304, and we're just gonna go. We're gonna do a little review on what we did, so y'all can see and see how the amperes transition over from my SA200 to a Miller 304. And initially, I started my root pass. I kept it around 50. I told him to go up, right?
You went up immediately.
I went up immediately to 55. Kept that a good while. So the range I kept was on the remote. It was from 45 to 55% of 200, making it. I stayed anywhere from 80 amps all the way up to 110 amps was my range, I believe, for my root pass. And versus him on his SA200, he was
yeah, I was in third gear. I stayed in third gear all day today. Just it's a little easier. I didn't need to burn that hot. Third gear, started at 50, went all the way up to about 70.
50, 70.
To 70. There was 70. The tack over here was a little closed in. Had to crank it up to 70 just to blow through. Once that was it, went back down to 65 and pretty much 65 all the way out, maybe 60 at the bottom, don't really remember, but it's about that. So between 50 and 70 was mine for third gear.
Right. Keep in mind the little dial where you control your arc force over here on the XMT 304. I did have that cranked up all the way to 100. Why? Because I wanted that dig. Okay. I wanted my arc to be strong so I can penetrate. So yeah. After that, you know, we did pretty good. We did really good on our route. Then we started on our hot pass. That was it was our hot pass / flush because it only needed a hot pass, and it was flush right after that. I started off at what was it, 60% of 200, which that roughly gives me at 120 amps, and then I moved all the way down to 110 amps. You know, and that was actually very, very cold. I'm not gonna lie, that was very cold. I just did it to experiment. But if I was to give you an advice, I wouldn't go any lower than 120 amps when you're using a 532 8010 rod. Okay, I could easily gone up to 130 amps if I wanted to with my 8010. And then again, I did leave my arc control all the way to 100, so it can dig and dig any trash out. If I wanted to, with my preference too, I could have turned that down all the way to 0 or 50 on my arc control, but I didn't. I kept that at 100. What's you, Steven?
For my hot pass, third gear, 70, 90% of the way. At the bottom, I could have turned it down to 65, but I didn't. Like I said before, left a little bit of undercut on the side, but it was nothing that the cap wouldn't cover, so it was fine. But yeah, so between 65, 70 is what it should have been for me.
Lastly, we started a cap. Okay, I did make a huge mistake on my cap. It's funny because I thought about it this whole morning that I wasn't going to do that. I hope that I didn't forget. I forgot to turn my arc control to 0 or 50. You know, I kept that at 100 during my cap, and what that did, it kept my puddle really, really watery. Okay, had a lot of arc force in that puddle, and it wasn't the nice thick puddle everybody looks for when they're capping. Where the thicker the puddle, the easier it is to cap your beads. You know, the more watery your puddle is, the harder it is to get that dime effect. You know, as you can tell, I forgot to do that, and you can tell right off my cap, it's not as aesthetically as pleasing as my friend Steven's here. It's not, but you know, and I blame that a lot to it. Hopefully, y'all know this helps y'all out. You know, I'm gonna show my mistake. This is gonna help y'all out. You got anything to say?
Yeah, in my cap was third gear between 90 and I finished at 85 at the bottom. You know, keep in mind this is just how we feel, how we like our temperatures. Some people like them 10 times hotter, some people like them 10 times colder. We're just trying to give you the basic of the correlation between the SA200 motor driven and the pure electric Miller over there. And you know, this is how we feel, so take this kind of with a grain of salt, learn a little bit about it, but I mean, it came out pretty well, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm happy with the video. I'm happy with the video too. Like I said, it wasn't try to show the best cap. It was just to show the difference, the correlations, transitions between the SA200 and the XMT 304 whenever you're running pipeline downhill. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.
Yeah.